So, as everybody knows, RWBY takes a hiatus usually every volume for about a couple of weeks. Well, this time it's going to be more like almost 2 months. Well, it looks like it's bad for the old cock dentures, and it seems like it might be getting worse. Oh boy, is this about to be something. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, RWBY's officially on hiatus. As everybody probably knows by now, I would have covered this, but everybody knows what happened, and I had been gone for a bit. But lots been going on, and boy, oh boy, is this something huge. So, the official RWBY Twitter, and then we're going to look at the post in just a moment, they stated this. We have a RWBY Volume 8 update. Following the release of Chapter 7 on December 19th, we will go on a mid-season break, resuming with Chapter 8 on February 6th, 2021. Yeah, almost 2 months. Praise God, it doesn't have to affect my sanity during that time. But they've also hired 2 TV executives for key studio roles. It's a bit odd. Which we're going to get into that, and then we're going to get into this article as well about how the home of The Sopranos is under siege inside the battle for the soul of HBO, which from what I've heard from the insiders that I've talked to, I've heard rumors of how Rooster Teeth might be merged into Cartoon Network's animation division, and then that's it. The Rooster Teeth's done, or that they might produce content for HBO Max. Those are the 2 things that I've heard that could happen. And look, one big important thing to look at is this. When it comes to WarnerMedia, the layoffs, and everything that's been going on, Rooster Teeth is not vital to them. They are not important, and whenever they are just focusing on HBO Max, well, they have all these other streaming services that are under them like Rooster Teeth. Well, they're not important, especially with all the bad publicity that's been going around about this terrible company. Yeah, that goes to tell you that they don't need that, and that doesn't make WarnerMedia or AT&T look any better. It really doesn't with all that bad publicity. So they could cut Rooster Teeth and it wouldn't be a problem for them. I mean, realistically, it wouldn't. So let's take a look at a few things first, starting with this post. So this is what was stated. Hey everyone, I've been fortunate enough to get to know a lot more of you this year, but for those I haven't met yet, my name is Laura Yates, and I am the lead producer on RWBY Volume 8 and 9. If there's even a Volume 9. I'd like to share an update on our programming schedule for the remainder of the year. Keyword there, year. Keyword. Every volume, RWBY sees a mid-season break, but this time it will be a little longer than you're used to in order to continue making the show as good as we know it can be and to truly support our team. Following the release of Volume 8, Chapter 7 on December 19th, we will go into mid-season break, resuming with Chapter 8 on February 6th, 2021. Now, this doesn't exactly mean the end, okay? Because, as we know, we've seen RWBY go on hiatus before. And big thing to also keep in mind is that many companies typically do this. Now, when it comes to breaks like this long, well, this is typically so that they don't have to pay people. Companies do this so that they don't have to pay people during that time. And then, of course, sometimes what happens is that they wait, they dump the episodes, and then boom, it's the end because typically it gets canceled by that point. But one telling sign of this is usually whenever you go to Twitter and you'll see people that'll work on cartoons that are getting canceled, right? Well, usually they'll be looking for work. That's usually a very telling sign. Now, with RWBY, I don't know what's going to happen yet, but it's not looking good. As you may know, we've been working remotely since March. Yeah, and from what I've heard, they've been rushed. Now, that's what I've been told, is that they have been rushed significantly, and it's not been good. This was our first foray into a fully remote workflow. We've been accustomed to working on the show together in person. Yeah, let's not forget that crunch time as well as that abuse that you've been giving the animators. Yeah, we can't forget that one, right? Without President, the team has had to work quickly to adapt at most every stage of the pipeline. See, exactly. That actually correlates with what I was told because, like I said, I was told that they had been rushed. So that's interesting to see that was stated here because that's exactly what I had been told by insiders. Interesting. Very interesting. And they've done an incredible job. I can't speak highly enough of how adeptly RWBY has risen to the challenges we face this year and how they've continued to create a truly fantastic show. Volume 8 looks and sounds as good as ever. Sure it does. My better question is, who you're trying to convince, the person reading this or yourself? And also, think about them having to do it quickly. It's probably because, I don't know, the lack of staff, or how, I don't know, maybe WarnerMedia threatening to shut them down. That might be the reasons. I'm just saying, just throwing out what could be the reasons. And I'm so thankful for the hard work, talent, and dedication that have gone into making that possible. A reality of working from home, though, has been a general slowdown in shot production. Each step takes just that much longer to complete, and it slowly adds up over time. We are committed to maintaining a work-life balance as a studio, a need that feels all the more significant in the current year. I don't believe that. You know why I don't believe that? I don't believe that because of the crunch time and the terrible treatment of the animators. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. This mid-season air break ensures RWBY has the time needed to maintain that balance. The team will continue working on the show throughout, but it will allow us a comfortable finish for the back half of the season. Thank you for everything you've done to support RWBY. There wouldn't be a RWBY without the fandom, and we appreciate you so very much. And here's the thing. I don't believe some of this. Some of this I don't believe. The part that actually sounds right to me would be them rushing it, with them quickly trying to do it. Yeah, I believe that part. But them trying to do it to help the workload, no, I don't believe that. That's the part I don't believe. I believe that they're just cutting it so that they don't have to pay people or pay people as much during this time. That's what I would have to say. But of course, you got the shills for Rooster Teeth coming in here also, and oh boy, are they just praising them. I mean, they are just happy that this is happening, both on Twitter and here in this post. They are really praising him. But there's something I wanted to bring up I also noticed in this post was this, where somebody was stating, why is everyone on here, and mostly everyone on Twitter, so nice to this post, but why is everyone being straight up douche nozzles on both Hirohei and Adela Khan's videos comment section? It's infuriating and confusing. And the person responds, probably because Hirohei himself is more than a little bit of a douche and deliberately tries to stir up and create controversy, and assholes attract other assholes. And then there was a response stating, that's the danger of being stuck in an echo chamber run by douches. It just gives a megaphone to some really toxic idiots. Really? Because it sounds to me more like this person is self-projecting, if you ask me. Because, look, when it comes to Rooster Teeth shills, okay, you could hit them upside the head with a hammer of knowledge and show them evidence of stuff, and they will not believe it. They will not. And then they will come at you like a horde and attack you however they can. Like, I've seen it with my videos. I've seen it with multiple other people's videos where they'll go in there and they'll send hateful comments and they'll downvote the videos. I mean, it's ridiculous. And, they did it during the Ryan Haywood and Adam Kovic situation. I was seeing some of that. Crazy stuff. And like I said, you could hit them with knowledge, and they don't listen to it. They just completely ignore the evidence that gets thrown at them. I'm not even kidding. And, when you look at Rooster Teeth and all the problems that's been going on with them, I love how they had this post that's already aged terribly the day it was basically posted. But think of it is that they were trying to even defend why RWBY, was better off on their own apps, as well as, other sites like Crunchyroll. Yeah, how did that go, Rooster Teeth? And, you look at this company with all the problems they have going on. I mean, you look at last year, the 13% of their staff being cut off, which was 54 people total, and then the one that happened all the way back in March that was never even recorded of people they lost that year. Then we also can't forget that if you were to look up news, you will see the bad publicity that has been coming out about Rooster Teeth. I mean, I'm not even kidding. It's really bad. You also have how they treated their animators, in which, by the way, they continue to do this. This is not new. Like, this is something they continue to do. They haven't stopped. That's the worst part. They have not stopped. And, when you look at it, Rooster Teeth is not important. You have to see it how it is. Rooster Teeth is not important to WarnerMedia. Look at what they did with Crunchyroll. They sold it off because they were like, oh, well, anime's not important to us. Bye-bye. And they got rid of it. That's what they did. They sold it to Sony and Funimation for $1.1 $175 billion. I mean, that's telling right there that if they're willing to cut off Crunchyroll, they're willing to cut off Rooster Teeth too. And they probably won't be around much longer. I mean, just by how things have been going, it's not a shock. I mean, it really isn't. It shouldn't be surprising. Now, there was also this, which I want to take a look at with Variety here, where WarnerMedia's Rooster Teeth hires 2 TV execs for key studio roles. See, for Rooster Teeth, this should be concerning. I mean, this was interesting to me when I saw this one. I was like, that doesn't sound very good. So let's get into this. Let's take a look at this first. Rooster Teeth, the WarnerMedia-owned entertainment division focused on sci-fi gaming and fandom, is boosting its studio development team with the hires of 2 execs from the TV world. Rooster Teeth Studios has recruited unscripted TV development and production veteran Wayne Sampson, most recently at NBC Universal as head of unscripted content, scripted comedy exec. Emily Hughes, previously with Lauren Michaels' Broadway Video, joins the company as manager of scripted content. Sampson and Hughes both will report to Ryan P. Hall, head of Rooster Teeth Studios, which, by the way, Rooster Teeth doesn't even have a founder in charge of the company anymore. That's how far they have fallen. Wayne has a proven track record of producing successful unscripted TV across many genres and is one of the most respected execs in the business. Hall said in announcing the hires, Emily is a tremendous development executive, and her years of experience working with top names in comedy make her a perfect fit for the studio. Get ready, because this means Rooster Teeth is basically not going to be able to do things the way that they wanted to. It's going to be company structured instead of the weird, quirky humor they used to have back in 2003, which of course slowly died in 2015 and then started to completely die off until now you have nothing but a husk of what it is. And then here you have a bit of the drama they go over. Over the past year, Rooster Teeth Studios has upped its output of original premium content for partners including Netflix, HBO Max, that's the big one, HBO Max, Cartoon Network, Discovery, and Outlier Society. And then, of course, they talk about Scholastic and DC. Yeah, how did DC go? All right, comic line's done. Whoops. I mean, that's over with. Then again, it's DC as well. If you see how woke they've gotten, oh God. Like, DC is not what it used to be either. And then Genlock, oh, that disaster. Yeah, everybody remembers that train wreck. Sampson previously was VP of Programming and Development for NBCU's USA Network and Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi. Oh, God. Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi. He joins Rooster Teeth Studios with over 20 years of TV development, production, and programming experience and shows for U.S. Sci-Fi, Discovery, and Spike TV, spanning a range of sports, reality, game show, competition, interview, and talk show genres. Okay, so looking at some of that, though, that seems more like they would try to be making more live-action stuff rather than they would animated shows. That's what that sounds more like to me, than it would be like animated. Because, like, Rooster Teeth at this point, it's nothing but a brand. I mean, most of the people are gone. At this point, it's just a brand. Because most of the original people are gone. Most of the founders are, like, they're out. So, I mean, what is Rooster Teeth at this point anymore? Nothing but a husk, as I said. That's all it is. Sampson began his entertainment career as producer of hit shows The Biggest Loser, The Ultimate Fighter, and produced his visual podcast show Joe Rogan Questions Everything. Oh, well, that's interesting, actually. Straight Up Steve Austin, Opposite Worlds, 1,000 Ways to Die, Deadliest Warrior, Mansers, and Pros vs. Joes. See, this is what I'm saying. This is all live action stuff, if you're noticing. None of this is animated, which makes me think they might chop the animation division. Like, they might just merge it with Cartoon Network's division, or that they might just put it into HBO Max for their own animated shows, which means no more Rooster Teeth animated shows. That's what it kind of sounds like. Now, I don't know that. I'm just saying that's what it kind of sounds like. That's interesting. And then basically, Rooster Teeth at that point is, like I said, what it basically is now, nothing more than a brand, but it'll eventually just cease to exist. That's my speculation, but that's what I would guess is going to happen. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Prior to Rooster Teeth, Hughes worked in television development and production at Broadway Video, where she was involved with shows including AP Bio, The Other Two, Miracle Workers, and upcoming series Keenan for NBC, and MacGruber for Peacock. Hughes previously worked in TV and digital development at New Forum, the digital studio startup now part of Whistle, whose original investors included Discovery, ITV, Ron Howard, and Brian Grazer. She started her career at CAA, which laid off a bunch of people. Let me just add that. in the TV, lit, and corporate communications departments. Rooster Teeth, a pioneering digital media player founded in 2003, is a subsidiary of WarnerMedia's RWBY unit. The Austin, Texas-based company has undergone major changes under WarnerMedia ownership. Last fall, Rooster Teeth laid off 13% of its staff, which was 54 people total, and brought in TV veteran Jordan Levin as general manager as part of a reorg in which co-founders Matt Holm, Bernie Burns, and Geoff Ramsey took on new creative roles. In June, Burns exited the company after 17 years. Yeah, they don't bring up a lot of other people who have left the company as well. It's not just Bernie Burns. It's more than him. But looking at it also, we got to look at this important bit here, which was the home of The Sopranos is under siege inside the battle for the soul of HBO, which it was actually retitled. This was not the original title of that article, which was basically them making cuts within WarnerMedia to take on Netflix. I mean, seriously, the chopping is real. I mean, they're really, cutting down WarnerMedia, and this is huge when it comes to Rooster Teeth as well. So looking into this, CNBC spoke with more than a dozen former and current WarnerMedia executives to gauge how John Stankey and Jason Kellar are progressing with HBO Max. Many executives expressed concerns about rushed decision-making and the disintegration of Time Warner's creative culture. While HBO Max's launch has been bumpy, very much so by the way, Stankey has proved to be out in front of big media reorganizations. I mean, look, here's the big thing. When you have a company or you have something you created, don't ever sell it. Don't. Otherwise, you'll end up like Rooster Teeth, and then you'll have a boss above you. You'll never be able to do things the way you want to do it. You lose creative freedom because you're being told by your corporate overlord of what you can and can't do at that point. I mean, seriously, don't ever sell what you've created, or if you own a company, don't sell it. Don't ever sell your baby. Just say. In December 2018, John Stankey sat down with HBO CEO Richard Plepler and his leadership team. Stankey, the AT&T veteran running WarnerMedia at the time, was meeting with division heads to hear ideas on how to combat the threat from Netflix and the secular decline of cable television. This was the first time Stankey had heard from Plepler's full team about their plan. HBO was the crown jewel of Time Warner, which AT&T had recently acquired for $100 billion with debt. Whew, rough. It took 2 years and a legal battle with the Trump administration, and the reason why that was because they thought it was going to be a monopoly to close the deal. It was the biggest media acquisition since the last time Time Warner was acquired in 2000, when America Online paid $162 billion. All that effort and money was a bit confounding to people. Why did a telephone company need to own a premium content business now? Stankey was the driving force behind the acquisition's integration and the clear favorite to take over as the next CEO of AT&T. Its success or failure would hinge on HBO, which already had more than 30 million subscribers and a sterling reputation in Hollywood and with consumers. And then Plepler had a plan laid out for them, and this was what his plan was. First, give HBO more money to spend on content. Second, augment the Cinemax Premium TV channel with more family-friendly original library and licensed children's programming. Third, sell HBO and Cinemax together for a couple dollars more than HBO, around $17 per month. Fourth, hammer out a deal with Comcast, the largest U.S. cable company, allowing the broadband distributor to sell HBO Go directly to broadband-only customers. Finally, and most importantly, don't blow HBO up. And what happened? Oh, they blew it up! Oh, what do you know? Plepler's team estimated this plan would guarantee $7.5 billion in annual revenue, plus future upside depending on the success of the new content. Stankey heard them out. Then he ignored their advice. Stankey had bigger ambitions for streaming video. Less than 3 months later, Plepler announced he was leaving WarnerMedia. So basically, he just said, screw you all, I'm doing my own thing. I'll blow it all up. So every casualty is going to go all around. Casualties to HBO, casualties to Cartoon Network, casualties to Adult Swim, casualties to DC. They didn't care, which this also affects Rooster Teeth when you think about it as well. So realistically, casualties all around because he wanted to focus on HBO Max. Oh, man. See, this is what this means. If they're willing to gut all of this, if they're willing to chop like this, then you better believe that nothing is sacred. Because if they're going to cut all that away, then that means that the only thing they're going to focus on is just basically the telephone business as well as internet, because they're like, oh, we can still make money off that, even though their entertainment basically will be gutted entirely, pretty much, for the most part. I mean, this is how bad it is. This is how bad. Warner Bros. Is basically dead. I mean, they are in just for a huge amount of pain because of all of this. I mean, and this is all because Stanky did not want to listen to the plan that there could have been that, he could have accepted, instead just threw it out. So, now you're seeing all these casualties because the money that it could have been generating. But yeah, no, it just got worse. And look, I'm telling you, if anybody thinks that Rooster Teeth's going to make it out alive, they need to think twice. Because if they're willing to cut everything else off, you better believe that Rooster Teeth is not sacred. You better believe that they'll do it. They'll put them under the guillotine faster than you could imagine. I mean, and that's why you should not sell anything that you own or create to a company, because it'll never end well. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels, so make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.